Hey guys!
Hello, hello.
Hey, this is a face reveal, and that it's more of a store reveal. It's actual location. We swear, we promise, we're not borrowing someplace just to make it look cool.
Light's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Placements.
lights are fucking weird. We took all 16 and filled them in the space, buddy. Took 16 lights and put them all on.
Yeah, the camera doesn't like the lights, unfortunately, where we're standing. It's because either too bright or not bright enough. But we got quite a few of them in here. Got everything situated and set up.
Yep. Took us at least a couple of weeks to pack up everything and then move it here, and then one day to move all the big stuff.
I fortunately had a lot of videos helpful up and ready to go. You probably noticed the last couple weeks we've been slowly dropping the amount that I can put up.
I like we run out.
So yeah, this is going to be with
a bunch of our live feed that
hopefully
we've been
the new ones
Facebook.
beginning up. So yep.
Yeah. So what's been going on is as we've been moving, I've been putting videos up showing what we've done. So this is the video of a condensed version of that. We're gonna, cut through it. We're gonna talk over some parts about the really good ones, show you the changes, and the latest video actually shows you really well of the full space, so you get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you.
Put music in the background of it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm video editing it. I'm gonna put this. Right. It's good. We're gonna get some games going. We're gonna get some more stuff going. And with the new setup, we should be back, hopefully on a schedule to be able to record games and go back onto what we were doing before. So, new stuff. It's all good, guys.
Still gonna be slow for a little bit until we get everything situated, but hopefully we'll get back to at least 3 to 4 a week if possible again.
Right.
So, all right, take it easy.
We'll see you in the clip, and thanks for joining us.
Yep.
See you next.
See ya.
So when we started this whole adventure, it really started with nothing. We had nothing.
Nothing.
We had to empty out this entire room, clear it of the previous walls, and just start planning from scratch.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, this is the scene of where we've tore down the complete wall in the center. It used to be an office rooms, and we got the plates up ready for hanging screens. You can see there too.
We were hoping on how it would end up being. The fact that we would have 2 TVs, we'd have more of a play area, we'd have this, we'd have that. We were both hopeful, optimistic, and just trying our best.
Mm-hmm.
When we started, this is the things we had.
Yeah, we pretty much used everything we already owned as the starter units.
And literally went out to any place that we could, grabbed whatever units we could in bulk, and just sold them. We even asked friends.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can we sell your games on your behalf? We'll totally buy them back for you.
We're still doing that.
Yeah, yeah, we are. But when we say we started from nothing, guys, we started from the very beginning. It's a very hard place to start, actually.
Yeah, just a couple tables really is the beginning.
Yeah, and that's all that fit on it, too, that we had so little that we used one table to hold it all.
Mm-hmm.
We even had to make our own furniture from scratch. Ronnie Crimmix here did a great job on he was the construction guy.
Yep, I've pretty much been the construction guy since we started and still doing it now. The main countertop we used at the beginning.
We used that for what, a year and a half? 2 years almost?
I mean, technically 3. We used it for the entire time we were there, just parts of it got chopped off. But yeah, we pretty much used the original part almost the whole entire time once we got it built.
And we put in, you start seeing on that corner there, the archway that we had. We thought it would be a good idea to separate it. I'm not entirely sure why at this point anymore. I think for old versus new.
Yeah, at the beginning we wanted to separate the sales versus the play area at the beginning. And in general it slowly started merging away from the play.
And I realized it really kind of cut down on flow, but we'll get to that in a moment. So the play area. The play area went through a lot of changes.
Yeah, currently it's not here. We're still working on that though.
We're going to get that one up as soon as we can, but like this is you can see the rough of the tables, man. This is the very beginning.
Yeah, kind of folding table on the right, basic wooden table we had built for the other side. Testing systems on newer generation TVs.
That's where we found the lag.
Didn't go over very well.
Yeah, the lag and the rough, not having played them for a long time definitely was a detriment. It showed us that we can't use these new TVs for it, and that's when we started getting the next guy. The old TV.
Yeah, the old school TV worked out well for older generation stuff. This is the little guy. I mean, if you can call it that, because I think it's like a 20-inch TV. But in
the
general,
quote-unquote little guy.
yeah. We did find finally one LCD that worked with most of the systems. We're currently using that as our testing system mostly.
As you can see, we actually had a few more things. We borrowed from more friends. We got a few more systems. And we actually were able to have 2 tables, guys. 2 tables of stuff. Half of which is TVs. So technically still 1 table.
Yeah.
This is where we try to make it look not as crowded.
Yep. Expanded to allow the bigger TVs up on the wall finally. Had kind of a display for holding the systems as well as something in the center for holding everything else. Controllers and whatnot.
We tried to keep it neat looking, but it only works so far.
Yep.
And this didn't last long either. It looks a little more cluttered because this was definitely further down the line. We've changed how the systems look on the shelving. We got an actual entertainment system for the old TV. And we put every old system that would not work with our new ones on there.
Yep. Pretty much anything PlayStation below went to the old school TV. Everything above that went on to the bigger TV on the newer generation. That also shows that we do have the PS4 VR. It worked pretty decently when we had enough space. Yeah.
That was a trade-in. We were surprised when that got traded in. And we immediately told ourselves, nope, we're not selling this sucker.
Yep.
With the play area, we need that.
And as you can see, we had pretty much all the newer generation games. Of course, the newest ones are so hard to get a hold of now, but in general, we got from the PS3, the Wii U, as well as Xbox 360 up.
It does help with the testing of items and making sure everything does work. You know, a better quality of standard that some others might not go to.
Yeah.
We started trying to condense some of our stuff to make it actually look similar and to figure out a better way to have all the accessories. We've always had a thing with the Guitar Hero stuff that we just never figure out where the fuck to put them.
We never had enough space to really utilize them effectively either. It's also his early generation of, we had a little table for the PS4 and whatnot. And you can actually see the computer in the background, which we initially did have in the play area.
We are trying to have a play area for pretty much everything, from early console to latest console and even PC gaming. We even had an account made on Steam to have games on there for people just to play. It worked okay-ish, but no one realized that's what it was for.
Yeah, it may make a reappearance at some point if we get to that point.
I mean, we'll never know exactly how the things go turning because we didn't expect to do, handhelds. Now we have a bunch.
Yeah.
We didn't expect to have as many accessories. Now we have a whole ton.
As quickly as we're expanding, you never know.
So this is a different angle in that same kind of scene. As you can tell, the drum sets are still there. You can see the computer a little better. We had to try to use as much of the wall space as best as we could. So pegboards, the brackets on the wall, overstock above. You actually can see a bit of board games, and we were trying to be all games.
All games, yep.
Not just video games. That's why it's called Play It Again games, not video games. Because we want to be everything. I mean,
we may have phased out everything due to the space, but that doesn't mean we're completely ignoring them either. We may go back to that view at some point.
And we have more space this time, so we could very seriously do so. Now, this guy is the last entertainment system we had made in the old store.
Yeah, this one will carry over into the new unit once we get everything set up. This houses all of the original stuff that was in the smaller unit from earlier, and with a much bigger TV and a much heavier stand.
It definitely can hold the weight of the much bigger TV we also managed.
Yeah, and it worked well with testing as well as play because the front ports on the front, we could use those to test with all the AV systems and go from there.
It was a quick, solid solution. We painted it black, and we had to make the whole thing ourselves. So really, we bought boards for it, and then we made it.
Yeah, and I ended up doubling up the main artery point where it holds the most weight, as well as the top and the sides, because, I mean, we wanted to be more sturdy, and that TV is a very heavy TV, so it needed it.
This particular guy is among the old ones. This is literally all the games, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was all the newer generation ammunition and cartridge stuff.
So before we
Oddly
were
enough.
able to get any of the slat walls or any actual nice shelving on the wall, we only had these bracket walls. And we used figurines as end things to keep them upright because we just didn't have any other way, and we weren't sure how to get them on the wall looking nice without making something entirely out of weirdness.
Yeah, oddly enough, we had the amiibos traded in just a little bit before that happened, and in general, they become a good shelf for something for people to look at and come to that area.
Yeah, it was definitely amongst the idea of, well, if you can just want to play any game, grab it from right here, pop it in, you're good. As we got more games, this was not as feasible. This did not last long because once we got more of any of the systems, we started actually trying to figure a way to put them on the wall. We don't have any pictures of that on here because, one, they're ugly, too, because I forgot. But Crimmix Ronnie had to actually make shelving before we got the slat walls.
You see a few of them in some of the other video areas. So our new shelves, some of the new shelves has a lot of the old look. So you'll see them in at least in those images
in the spirit
during
of
the
it.
video. So
this is really when we first started after our big hit of slat boards and wire shelves. They were able to get things looking a lot better.
Oddly enough, we got it from another retro store that closed up a while back. Display cases, some of the bigger display cases came from there, as well as the shelf board.
And a good chunk of games, too.
Yeah.
A lot of games, DJ Heroes, Guitar Heroes, a whole bunch of stuff they still had that unfortunately they couldn't do anything with after that store closed up. So we got a big haul out of it. We even got these standing shelves from them. And that white swivel back there because they were giving them away almost.
Yeah, we got a pretty good deal on everything we grabbed. It was just one of those things we had to do it while we had it.
Pretty much. And this is also when we had some trade-in and we had some things still early consignment. We're expanding, kept growing, and we were surprised by how much we came in and how often people would come in and sort through our stuff to find those rare gems.
Yeah.
We started finding a lot of regular customers who would come in looking for specific things.
Yeah, they want to fill out their collection.
And every so often we get some hidden gems, like the complete collection of Zelda. Not the complete collection, but like the complete box set of that Super Nintendo Zelda. This is one of the display cases that we actually got from that old retro place. It has the original posters back in the back again. We took them down, I think, for the move of it.
Yeah, we took it down originally, but ended up putting it back.
Because you know what? It's part of history at this point. This is back when we had just a couple of systems. Now we actually have an overstock of some of the systems to keep up for. But hey, we do actually still have a Switch. And we have some more stuff, definitely more stuff in there. We'll show that later, I'm sure. The display case has definitely grown just as much as we have. So this is pretty early in the design of the store.
Yep. Basic archway is still there. A little bit of the consoles inside that display case, as you can see with my laptop sitting on it.
Hell, we even had an older banner. We didn't have a really big one. That was the biggest banner we could get.
Pegboards for holding controllers and whatnot. It's still filling out at that point.
This is definitely actually before we got our big score of getting a bunch of the slat boards, the wire shelves, and a console case, essentially. So this is literally all a bunch of hodgepodge equipment, furniture, everything that we could and couldn't get. We just kind of threw together and made it work.
Utilized anything we could get, including a lazy boy. As
right?
You can see
like
there.
Any chairs, they were all mixed matching. Like it was just what we could do. We started from nothing. It's a little blurry, but this is one of the earlier photos too. As you see, half of that counter that we first showed is still there. He's still being used, but we started getting a few more display cases and really wanted to implement them. Those were a good catch.
Yeah. Basically, the one section of the counter had to be chopped off, readjusted to make space for the shelf. Rest of it pretty much stayed the same. We got the TV display, and we used that, for a long time. We ended up getting more display cases, so that's going to be the next thing that starts to change the front end.
And we kept changing what we had on those pegboards. We weren't ever really sure what we wanted to use them for, aside from the fact that we had to use space, and we were running out of space. You can actually see a bit in the back right corner some of the other side that we shared the unit with.
Yep.
They were accommodating, and considering how we had started from nothing, they were very generous to us.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate their help in the early days. This is when we actually started getting more display cases. The other side had a bunch come in from, Middletown Firearms?
Yeah, I believe it was one of the locations.
Yeah, one of the other stores in Middletown were just like, they couldn't have as many display cases for whatever reason, and they didn't want to take them all. And we're like, we'll totally take them.
The second wall finally had to come down to make way for enough space to do so. Did finally get some of that patch job up there taken care of, but we ended up moving before it fully got situated.
And as you can see, there's only one TV hanging on that wall where the quote-unquote play area is. We definitely had to shrink down some of the stuff that we wanted on there because we were running out of wall space and room on the floor.
The product started taking over pretty quickly especially after we got the extra display cases. Play area had to adjust and shrink with it. Kind of made it a little bit more cramped, but we made do with the space we had.
We definitely tried to make the most out of the space, including building shelves into the wall itself. That's what that black thing is. Shelving that Krimix Ronnie had literally built into the wall, and our neighbors were like, what the hell did you just do to the wall? And they're like, you better not hit any of our stuff. And we're like, it's fine, you'll be fine. And we built it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out as a nice display. I'm not one to be a carpenter, but it turned out pretty good for what it's for.
You can actually see the old shelving type on the back. We still used it for the Wii because we just didn't have enough slapboard.
Yeah.
This is one of the long views towards the end of how it looked in the life of the old unit store. It is a bit different because I believe we had a bit more of the black shelf, or was that always like that?
It was been pretty much like that. The biggest thing is that you can kind of see where we tore the walls down. Unfortunately, the carpet's still messed up. We never did get to the point where we wanted to fix that. The new unit, we decided to do that from the beginning and make sure we get new carpet down to not have that problem, as well as you can kind of see the rear has the game area or the play area, but it's really small. But in general, that's how we made do with the space we had.
We just used as much of tall space up and down as we could. Things were squished together as much as possible. It was starting to feel cramped. We were starting to grow out of it, but we had no other options.
Yeah.
It was this or nothing, and we were doing well enough that we didn't see a reason to stop.
Yeah, we were actually debating on removing the play area completely as the next step, and then we had a big option come to us to get this new space. So instead of doing that, we went for the new space.
And really, guys, this is the best of the last photos of the old unit. You can actually see some of the old banner up on the top right.
Yes.
We used as much of the wall space as possible. They've got the display case, and considering how small it was, we did really well.
Yeah, I mean, we maximized the area that we had. As you can see, the rear shelves finally did get eliminated by the slat board. We had to. There was no choice in the matter. We needed the extra space, and it held the cartridge-based stuff pretty well with the little bit of extra shelving board we had.
We did take out one of the other white swirly things and put it in another black shelf. That's why it looks a little different from the last photo. Awesome for what I remembered. The display cases were almost full to busting.
In general, not a single display case was empty. That's for sure.
And we tried to use as much space, like every single space as possible.
Yeah, and the very top part where you see all the boxes and stuff, that was always our biggest problem, was storage. And really our only storage in the entire unit set, it was either up there or a small cubby section in the back. And even though we made the best of what we had, the storage was really starting to be a major choke point, because every time we get something traded in, it'd be a pretty mess dealing with it until we got it cleaned up and tested and all that stuff. And this new area is definitely going to help keep us a lot more pleasant up in the front area and keep our areas in the back to be the testing, ultimately the full testing area and repair as we begin to more expand.
Essentially, guys, as much as these old systems keep chugging along, a lot of times companies actually make it hard to change out parts, or they just physically can't keep it up, so they have to be repaired in one way or another. And we know the value in repair. There's so many systems and games people won't repair nowadays. They just toss out, and it's like, no, why? Just redo, reuse, recycle. So we have a lot of actual dead, quote unquote dead things just chilling around for parts.
I mean, in general, you got to think, even down to like the 360 and stuff are now approaching 20 years old, if they haven't already been. Yeah,
like
I
30
think they're
almost.
close to 20, if not more.
They definitely have been around for a long time. But yeah, this was it was a good shop. We did well here, and we can't wait to do well in the new one.
Yeah, the new one is coming along nicely. There'll be a video package to show what it looks like now. We haven't done this in YouTube and stuff, as well as we want to have an ultimate thing for Facebook. So, in general, I hope you enjoy our little run through of how we developed.
And we'll talk you guys through the next couple of videos that'll show up as the construction for our new place.
Yep.
We'll see you right there.
See you then.
Okay, guys, so we start off our adventure with the new location.
Yep. Front end here, showing off the glass windows, which we didn't really have much of.
And the last one. We shared the unit with Visualink over on behind Sheets on Valley Avenue, across from Ward Plaza. We got the construction. Love construction.
Still in process, building out the new shelf work, prepping to start putting up the metal shelf racks.
Yeah, sorting out the games as we can. We always seem to kind of have to adjust whatever building we have to what our needs are.
Yeah.
So luckily Ronnie Kremix is very useful in that aspect, as he's gotten a lot of practice now.
Yeah.
And with the slat boards that we took from our old store, we can have stuff on here, like different sections, and build out as we need.
Yeah, ultimately the new shelf layout, or the shelf layout for the centerpieces, are my original design with a little bit of variation to it. You'll see it at the end what it looks like fully done. But this is how this started. Just a bunch of 2x4s.
Pretty much. It's definitely always going to be a mild work in progress, but with the lot more floor space, we'll have more room to put stuff in the middle and have still room for everyone to walk around.
Definitely want more shelf racks for the center, like the black ones we got.
Yeah.
Maybe try to pick up a different design for some of the other stuff too. But I mean, it's one of those things. We now have the position to grow however we need to, and it'll be a long time before we outmatch this space.
Yeah, definitely much more potential for growing and getting what we need, where we need it, how we need it.
Yep.
We even have space for things like the Wii, the Atari, PS4, PS2, 3, 1, Xbox.
Yeah, the 360 and Xbox and the Xbox One will all be on their same shelf sets. PlayStation will have its own wall set. And then when you'll see a lot of the stuff, a little bit changes from what our original look here is, but you'll see it as it progresses.
For sure. And of course, display cases were the first thing we brought in.
Yep.
Because we needed those up to know where everything else kind of goes.
They take more space.
Who knew? But we do have more space back there now. So this is the middle of the construction process. We got more stuff up. We got things actually in the window.
Signs.
We're
open.
We got balloons showing off that we were open.
A trash can.
Yeah, that poor thing is definitely filled.
So basic things we've changed a little bit from the first setup. Have a little sign saying gaming's right in here.
They keep taking it
It's
down.
gone. It keeps falling actually.
Oh. So the display cases, first thing that filled in. We, as usual, have a mess behind the counter because we love messes. We can't help ourselves. We really actually had a whole bunch of people helping us. A lot of family members, friends, people that are regulars. We did what we could.
Yeah, the games are, I mean, as nice as they are, they do take up a lot of space. Many boxes that had to go sort through to figure out where they're going to be placed. We situated a few different things in their own little section. So
we even actually have a section just for the rock band and other musical things, because we always had a hard time figuring out where to put them, and they just never seem to sit well. Well, now we have one.
Center racks houses most of the Sega as well as the old school Nintendo products up to the Wii, as well as most of the generation for Sega. So.
And of course, the left side all on PlayStation.
Yep.
We've moved in some of the old spinners that we used to have, and we were able to get those situated, using them to hold the accessories.
Yep, game console case. It's a lot more filled out now than compared to what it was. The spinners, as she mentioned, we kind of phased them out quickly because we ran out of space before, but we can repurpose them and reuse them for the accessories.
Luckily, when we packed up, we actually had things mostly organized based on the games and types like that, so it wasn't as bad. Heaven forbid our helpers ever actually know the alphabet, though. So, yes, I will throw Gentry under the bus.
Atari finally took that section of the wall out because we needed the shelves for the other sections. So we moved it there.
And that is a sneak peek to the back rooms where the play area and our repair systems are going to be. But that's going to be later down the line for sure.
Yep. And from here, you can kind of see the Xbox section. Starting with the Xbox One, moving to the 360 to the actual original Xbox. 360 went out to 2 sets of shelves. Just like the PlayStation. It had been filling out so much, it needed more space.
And we're going to take that space by the window, and we're actually going to fill that more with shelving, so they can actually have more breathing room for sure.
Yep, we'll close it in and put more shelves up.
So what we're going to do for some of this room, aside from our display cases of handheld stuff, is have a quick test area to be able to make sure everything works beforehand.
Yeah, we're trying to make it quicker. Final product.
Here we go, guys. So we have the majority of everything up. There's, of course, changes here and there. Nothing ever is the same for long, sometimes. We got some more balloons celebrating our open. Everything's neat, put away. We're just doing some finishing touches here and there.
Yeah, the guitars and Skylanders and all them different things have their own little place.
Definitely out of the way now and much easier to see.
Yep. Got a dedicated display for them, as well as the Guitar Hero and stuff in the display beside it. I think we go to that next.
Okay, remember, we don't need to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. We started to actually put accessories and things into baggies.
Yes.
Crimmix Ronnie had found a nice baggie system that works and looks a little more professional than our old baggie system, so that's what we're going to start going towards.
Yep, you see it more effectively in the cartridge-based stuff because the cartridges is one of the main things we use the baggies for. Controllers was another thing.
Wires, stuff like that.
Certain things are still too big for those bags, so we're still going to have to figure out a way to get around that, but in general they look much more professional.
We definitely have all of our handhelds back in place, alphabetized.
A lot more looking better. There's a better look at the testing area behind that display case as well.
Just be able to, like Ronnie had said before, quick tests to make sure your system works, make sure everything's there. More
focused on the console stuff. That stuff we want to test quickly to make sure it's functional and the customer can get the best bang for their buck from the item.
Pretty much. We've turned the center thing into the old cartridge stuff and the Nintendo things. We just started running out of room, guys. Funny enough.
Yep. You can see that this actually moved on the opposite side from the original setup. It became the accessories for the Xbox systems.
Worked really well.
Yeah, it works well for it. Has got enough space for all the units and everything.
The display case probably will move. Some things we'll just have to keep moving, guys. And we have some of the setup on the back with the shelves. Again, we're going to have to play it by ear, figure out how things go before finalizing for sure. And that console case, man, he's full now.
Yeah. It's actually adjusted again since this image, and it's got more in it beyond that.
And we have, of course, the PlayStation area, PlayStation 4 and whatnot. They've definitely grown.
Yeah, the console's actual accessories and stuff are with them more closer.
That way it's a little easier for people to immediately tell what they have and what they need.
Yep. This is a good shot of the Genesis and Dreamcast section. There's a few things for the Saturn in the mix. The Nintendo section, showing off the new bag types, which is working really well. Still got a few more things to switch over. Accessories pieces for the Super, as well as a couple of the Universal style stuff. And unfortunately the smaller section for the Super Nintendo and N64. One, we don't have a lot of them left. They keep selling as soon as we get them. And two, we want the rest of the racks to expand more.
It's just always going to be a process of growing, guys. We're just going to keep on growing and getting bigger as we can.
Yeah, we value trade-ins a lot, so if you're in the area and you want to trade in stuff, we give pretty fair store credit. We try to do cash sales when we have extra to work with, but...
And we can do consignment if the item's that big and you want the most bang for your buck.
Like the little orange system in there
HDMI.
is a really, really high consignment. It's a really nice setup.
And we're doing well, guys. This is promising to do really big eventually for us. It's just, we gotta get that foothold in.
We got expanded quickly, got everything set up within a couple weeks. Doing the cleanup to the back rooms to start preparing them for more usage. And sooner or later, they'll actually be shown here as well.
Alright, and we can't wait to see you guys here. And you know what? Thanks for watching this video.
Yep. Thanks for seeing us, and we'll come up with a final cut.
Well, for the outro.
Yeah,
See you in the outro.
Yep, see you in a bit.
So, hopefully you guys liked that video, because that was a very good comment to start on. So yeah, if you're wondering, this is actually a reverse of what's back there.
What we're actually standing. Yep.
How it goes, cameras. Hello. Hope you liked the montage. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we wanted to do it with the original location, just never did it.
Right, pretty much. We wanted to do this, but
you
never got around.
You still have pictures of it. Maybe we could throw it into the montage.
Okay, I could. Yeah.
I mean, you guys already see it, but okay.
Yeah. So that's the old. I'll do a comparison full on. So hopefully you guys like that. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
We'll definitely have already labeled it where we're actually located, because we're unsafe that way. I don't know why that was.
Yeah,
I waved.
Show somebody, but they're not back there.
Well, yeah, because no one wants to be on camera but us, because we're total camera hogs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
Once again, 23. Admittedly, yes, we do. We have someone trapped behind our cameras. No, she's one of the workers. It's fine. 2308 Middle Road, Winchester, Virginia, in the U.S.
Still just as busy of a road as we had before. So.
Actually busier, because we keep getting more people.
Yep.
So we actually have a separate room. We're going to do the recording, so it won't be interrupted that way, but there's only so much we can do.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching.
Yep. Like, subscribe, comment.
Bye-bye.
See you around.